I've had amazing experiences over these last 15 years.
Would that be considered like the climax of the party once it hits?
Yeah, but that shit can happen multiple times in 4 hours. You take them like this, and by the time they leave, they're like, God, yo, whew. I had the time of my life that night.
Big shout out to our production crew and also to our proud sponsors. Big shout out to Rules of Productions. Without them, this would be impossible, but they make it possible. And also want to give a shout out to our sponsors, which is Greedy Graphics. We appreciate the hard work you do for our podcast. Also, It's Personal. Pretty soon you'll see us wearing her custom-made shirts on our sets. And also, Joining Hard FPV. You know, this young brother makes his own drones by hand. Got all the machines and all the material and all the technology needed to make it happen. So FPV Joining Hard. And also, if you're trying to smell good, tap into Eclipse Body Oils. Life smells better than before. I guarantee to get you right. Coming soon. All right, appreciate it. Peace. Hey, what's going on? Hey, everybody. Thank you for channeling in, tapping into the Black Label Xchange. Today we got a dope guest, man. We got an awesome guest. You guys better stay close. Don't go nowhere. Pay attention. We got Rashaan, a.k.a. DJ Fly Guy. You know, he represents Dade County. Not just Dade County. I mean, he represents us, but he's all over the place. I mean, domestic, he's all over New York, Texas. I mean, well, you've been all over the place.
Everywhere.
International, you know, so he's here, he's hanging out over here in Little Haiti with us today, man. We're gonna tap into the Black Label Xchange. I want to give a big shout out, man. Hey, Rashaan, a.k.a. DJ Fly Guy, thank you for coming, my brother.
I appreciate you having me.
Appreciate you, you know.
I
know your schedule's busy, brother, so I'm glad you was able to make some room, you know.
No doubt.
We was going back and forth.
For a while,
For a little minute, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Trying to get it right, but we got it right, man.
We here.
You know how the universe works, man.
We here, yep.
So hey, once again, man, welcome again, my brother.
Thank you.
And we'll just have a conversation, man. Let's talk about, you know, what makes you so great at what you do. You know what I mean? Highly respect, you know what I mean?
Appreciate
coming from me to you.
Yeah.
And yeah, I just want to kind of, you know, just kind of like let's just talk, man. Give me a little background on, you know, where you come from and the journey you have taken. You know, from early years to
I know
now.
you want the full story, like the beginning.
I want you to give me whatever you want, what you want to share, brother.
Born in Georgetown, Guyana, South America, which a lot of people confuse with Ghana, but it's like, no, Ghana's in Africa, Guyana is in South America. And the way I describe it is like, it's the only West Indian country that's not an island. So to put it in perspective, like the Caribbean people, West Indian heritage, they're all islands. So we're West Indian by culture and heritage, but we're South American by geography. You know, we're right on top of Brazil, right next to Venezuela. So that's where I was born. Left Guyana when I was 5. Family moved to Flatbush, Brooklyn, and then moved to Miami when I was 8. And then from 8 to 18, till I graduated Miami Killian, where you went, I was here. And then when I went to FAMU, got to college, when I would leave college, I would go back to Brooklyn and stay there until 2008. When I came back here, I've been here ever since.
Nice. So, yeah, I see that you pretty much built yourself up from beginning to start.
Yeah.
I just kind of want to focus in on pretty much like coming up, like growing up. You know, how was it? How was it growing up in South America?
My upbringing, my childhood was amazing. You know, I was a bit fortunate enough to grow up in a 2-parent household. You know, and it was one of those households where like, you see your parents basically come from nothing and work hard and then excel, and then, you know, you see life kind of evolve and get better and better as the years go on. Like that's the household I grew up in. Youngest of 3 brothers. So I had a lot of tutelage and a lot of guidance, you know, from young. My eldest brother, Selwyn Hines, he used to be the editor-in-chief of The Source magazine in the 90s.
Oh, damn.
So if you read The Source in the 90s,
big magazine back in the 90s.
He ran that. You know, so that's the bedroom that was 2 doors down from mine.
Okay.
That's the household I grew up in. You know, my middle brother Simeon, he signed a record deal when he was 17, and actually used to record out here at Icus Studios in Devonair down in Kendall. I don't know if it's there anymore, but Icus was IKUS. They were really big around the Devonair, Hollywood area.
Kendall.
Yeah, yep.
Okay.
He did a lot of work with Tony Galvin, rest in peace, Tony Galvin.
Yeah, one time Tony Galvin.
So I knew Tony Galvin when I was like 10.
Yeah.
You know, going to his crib in Richmond Heights. You know, it was like the only 2-story house in the Heights. So I spent a lot of time there. And Tony would actually later go on to produce a record for me on one of my albums, like back in 2014.
Oh, dope.
Yeah.
Dope.
Yeah, man. I mean, my upbringing was a beautiful thing. Unfortunately, my father died of cancer when I was 15.
Wow.
So, you know, life kind of shifted at that point, and you know, my brothers, they were already out of the house, you know, living their separate lives. So it was just myself and my mother, and we became very, very close, which we still are to this day. And you know, a year after my father died, my mother got diagnosed with breast cancer. So, you know, I was in 12th grade at Killian thinking I'm gonna graduate with no parents. That was like my 12th grade mental stress, you know. Thankfully she beat it, you know.
Thank God.
Yeah.
Sure.
But, you know, the thing, what I mentioned earlier off camera about my name, you know, I know you call me Rashaan. My father actually named me. And the way you properly pronounce my name is Rashaan.
Rashaan.
Right, and he named me after an African musician named Rashaan Roland Kirk. But growing up, I never respected my name enough, so I allowed people who couldn't pronounce Rashaan to call me whatever they want. That ended up being Rashaan. And then when he died, something kind of clicked in me, and I said, you know what, people are gonna have to learn my name going forward in life. So that's why, especially when I got to college, you know, I got to FAM, and there was some people that went to Killian who went there, and they called me Rashaan, and I'm like, I went through this whole process, and that's not my name.
You kind of caught on to everyone else that didn't know you.
Not my name, yep. So, you know, it was a whole thing about, you know, trying to ingrain Rashaan into people that knew me before and then going forward in life. So, you know, you would come across people and they say, well, you don't have a nickname or anything? Can I call you San? I'm like, nope, no nickname, no none of that. You're gonna learn to respect my name and learn these 2 syllables, and then that'll be that. So that's how, you know, as far as like the history with my name and everything, so.
No, that's true. When it comes to the naming, man, like, you know, every respectable man would like for you to call them by their birth name. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, you know, my name's a little crazy too, so you can imagine the jokes that came with that. You know what I mean? Even still do. You know, yesterday I had to correct somebody.
Oh,
you know,
I see, yeah.
Introducing myself to somebody, you know, after the 4th time. Winnie? Listen, compound word. Win, like you're winning the game, and then Nick, like Nick is a student in the classroom. Winnick, you know. So I get it. So I'm a respect that and Rashaan.
Yeah.
Instead of correct,
I use word association too. I tell people rapper, sandwich. Cut off the ends and put it together.
Rashaan.
Rapper, sandwich, Rashaan.
Rashaan.
Yeah.
Got that.
Yeah.
So there you go. So listen, when y'all see DJ Fly Guy out there, when we come with that bullshit or something, Rashaan, all right? Rashaan, get it right. Write that shit down and practice it and get it right. So yeah, so let me just take you kind of take you back. You were speaking about when you was growing up, your father passed away. When your father passed away, right? That moment, how did that actually change your life as a young man, knowing that you may have to step up or?
I would say him dying made me become an introvert. You know, it made me become very closed off to outsiders, to people, to friends, to family. I remember being very angry for a very long time. And I just wasn't, you know, prior to that, I used to be kind of like real jovial and real like, you know, a happy kid. And then I just remember getting very like serious after that. You know, my mood and my, you know, even to this day, like my mother would look at me sometimes and she'll be like, what's wrong? You know, because I always have like this very stoic look on my face. And I know that became a thing once he passed. I don't know if like him dying and me being 15 and like kind of getting into puberty all kind of aligned at the same time, and that was part of the reason, but I know that that's something that changed in me, you know, around that time. And, you know, it made me a very like quiet individual. You know, like what people might see on my social media or everything, you know, that's not really who I really am. You know, I'm almost like the antithesis of that, you know, when I'm not in work mode, like when I'm not being Fly Guy, like I'm very reserved and like kind of to myself and don't really like spotlight and attention and everything like that. So I think that started from back then.
So you kind of fall back into your Rashaan side. You fall back into that individual that you are. You know what I mean? I think a lot of us got that as well too. You know what I mean? I mean, they say you got to have 3 faces. At least 3 faces, 3 different faces out here in this world. You know what I mean? You have the family face. You know, you have your original face, the face that when it's just you in the mirror, that you can't hide, you can't fool nobody. And then you got that face you got to put out in the world. You know, in your case, it's Fly Guy, it's DJ, it's your art, photography and stuff like that you're into. You know, you got to put a certain face out there, because if you don't put that certain face out there, people are not gonna be able to connect with you. You know, so we have to change our moods like energy. You know? And if you ask me, everything is based off energy. You know what I'm saying?
It's interesting you say that because I think, I just had this photography exhibition that finished earlier this year called Capture, a Portrait of the Pandemic at the History Miami Museum.
Nice.
And when you talk about like different faces, I think, all these images that I captured during quarantine and like George Floyd protests and everything, I think it was showing people how I see Miami through Rashaan's eyes as opposed to Fly Guy. Even though to the public's perception, it was like a Fly Guy exhibit, but I made sure that they used like my real name in all the press and all the media, on the news and everything, because I wanted people to know like, this is not the entertainer side of me that you're getting. This art is really coming from like the foundation of who I am as a human being, as a man. So that's why I made sure like, okay, if you're gonna use my name, you're gonna say Rashaan, Fly Guy, Alexander in all the press and the media.
Gotcha.
So,
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Which is good. Man, let's talk about that, your photography. Where in your heart, where does that passion come from for you to want to go out there and take photos of the world and people and things of that nature and display it to the universe and explain?
Well, I can say this, when I started going out and shooting, I never had the intention or even the idea that I was gonna do an exhibit. That wasn't even a thought. It was just like, I lived alone at the time during quarantine and watching the news every day, and you seeing like people dying, thousands and thousands of deaths every day from COVID. You're seeing the George Floyd protests, and like, I'm looking at New York, I'm looking at DC, I'm looking at LA, all the marches and the protests everywhere. And I'm like, but you know what, Miami is contributing to the cause or the voice, just like these other cities, but the news isn't really shining a light on what's happening down here. And that was the thing that kind of sparked in me to say, we need to go out and capture basically what's happening in Dade County. And that's how that happened. And then that turned from 1 day to 2 days to a week to 2 weeks. And then it was like, okay, the protests have kind of shifted. What else is going on in the city? Okay, me and my team headliner, when we did, we brought Puff Daddy to Overtown right outside of House of Wings to give out cash to the residents of Overtown to help them pay their rent. Okay. And you had like 10,000 people out there gathering around the whole Overtown area. And he stood in line for like 3 hours just giving out hundreds and fifties to a long line of people that stretched all the way down the street. And so that was one of the photos that was in my exhibition. So, capturing that. Just, I just wanted to show people what life was like here in 2020 and how we, took such a tragic time and kind of formed this resiliency in us and came up out of it and kind of got on the flip side of it now, so.
No, that's a good caption, and that's the thing. Like you said, I've seen the COVID pictures in different cities, different states. Yeah. So for you to go in and capture that image here in our own backyard, I think that's dope. That's
Thank
great,
you.
Thank you. And to display it. How's the turnout been since you've been holding these events and showcasing?
Well, the exhibition ran for 6 months, and it was from the opening night, with the mayor coming to the closing reception. It opened in August, it closed in February, and it was, based on the feedback I got from the museum, it was a very well received exhibit. The guest book they gave me was like almost completely full, and they said they've never had that before. Where like almost every page was signed and somebody left comments, you just reading through that and seeing how, you can tell when it's a child writing a message, when it's an adult, when it's someone who maybe doesn't speak English that well, but they're all saying like how they were impacted by, everyone's not impacted by every image, but certain images strike a chord with certain people in different ways, so it was just fulfilling for me to be able to do that, for my city.
So the feedback was very positive.
Yeah.
Are you talking about from any and every age group?
Mm-hmm. Yep, from kids to elderly people.
All the way through.
There was a guy that came one night in a wheelchair, elderly man, and his partner, his wife, no, I'm not sure, wife or whatever, was with him, and he whispered to her something, and then she told me about how like one of the images I captured reminded him of when he was in the civil rights movement, like civil rights era, kind of, and that type of shit was like, ooh, it gave me chills, but again, photography is something that speaks to me, it's something that I originally fell in love with in high school, at Killian, but I never really had the chance to explore it, as an adult, but it was always like in the back of my mind, like, the fascination of like Gordon Parks and Ansel Adams and Black and White, you know, and just not necessarily photography in terms of like shooting models or weddings. You know, I'm more into life, you know, capturing, you know, pain, struggle, hurt, you know, what's happening around us. That's my particular preference, you know, with shooting. So when, you know, COVID happened and I couldn't DJ anywhere, and I'm watching TV and seeing all this going on, and that's when the voice kicked in, like, grab that camera, go out there and just see what happens. I never knew it was gonna turn into actually 3 exhibits. Capture was the 3rd one and the largest one to date.
Damn, that's what's up.
Yeah, so, but it was definitely a blessing, man.
That's funny, man. It seems like everything you touch turns to gold. Yeah.
Well, I don't know about that, but everything I touch has God in it, so maybe that's why.
Amen.
You know?
Listen, amen to that, brother. That's
Thank
what's up. It's interesting, man, because I wanted to ask you, but you kind of explained it. You said during COVID time when you wasn't DJing, you had the extra time in your hands to go ahead and be artistic in a different way, right? So now, from then to now, all right, COVID is, I don't know where COVID's at right now. I don't know if it's here, it's across the street, if it left, went to Germany, I don't know where it's at right now. They ain't talking about it. But as of right now, now you have, I kind of want to fall into the DJ aspect now. Now that you have the time, COVID's over. How has the music picked up in your life now, since then from now?
Well, I can say that I don't DJ as frequently as I did before COVID. Okay. You know, like prior to COVID, you know, I could spend like 6 nights a week. You know, sometimes 7, sometimes 2 parties in one day. So that slowed down tremendously. You know, just full transparency, like even in 2021, like I was facing like eviction from not having the money that I was making in order to pay rent, and I had to go to court and, you know, have like show proof of, you know, like the government, I forgot what they call them, from the CDC, but basically saying like, you know, if you work in certain fields,
industry?
Yeah, like certain industries, that you're impacted, you know, you're not subjected to eviction, you know. And I remember like my landlord sending me a letter not caring, and I went to go to court on Zoom and go through that whole process twice. And that, you know, that added a lot of stress, you know, to me at the time, and, you know, but I was able to, you know, sustain and find a way out of it. So I'm not working as much as I used to, but it's always been a goal to work smarter, not harder.
There you go.
You know, so if I'm working 3 days a week as opposed to 6 and making twice as much money, that's a win for me. You know, I get to spend more time with my family, with my children, you know, focus on other things, other aspects of my art and creativity. So it kind of, everything happens for a reason, the way it happens for a reason. And you know, it's, we back outside, as everybody like to say, but it's not like it fully was before 2020.
Yeah.
But it's still a blessing, still good.
Yeah, you're still moving. Things are still happening. You know? And I also want to congratulate you on the baby.
Thank you.
For sure.
I appreciate that.
For sure.
Appreciate that. Yeah.
Quick question. What took you so long to drop your first child? Is it your first
Nah,
child?
my second.
Second.
Second. Yeah. First one is 14, so it's like starting all over again.
So you already okay. All right. Because when I saw it on social media, you know, precious baby, man. When you had your baby, I was like, man, your son just started just now. You know what I'm saying? You know, is he still, you know? But like I said, man, I think a good side of you is showing people that you also, besides of everything you do, music, photography, you're also a family man. Yeah. And that's important. People gotta understand, man, in order for you to move forward and to grind, you definitely want to take care of the family. Make sure the household is good. If the house is good, everything else falls in order. Yeah. You know what I mean? Definitely. I think certain people work reverse. I think they go out in the world, try to please the world, but at the same time, you know, your wife, your babies, you know, they suffer. You know what I mean? They may not be seeing daddy or mommy, whatever the case is, or maybe, you know, because the entertainment world drains you so much, you know, you don't have enough for your family, you know? So I say that because, you know, I got other partners also in the industry as well, too, and I see how they, you know, they can really, you know, they love what they do, but they love their family more than anything else. You know what I mean? So that's great, you know? So I'm saying that. So I want to also ask you another question, too. Going back to the music, I think people want to see, including myself, what inspired you to start doing music? Now, did it start at Killian High School or college? Or?
Well, so you know I rapped before I DJ'd.
Yeah.
So
I boy do everything.
So what inspired me to rap, it's funny because I just did a show with Big Daddy Kane 2 days ago.
Yeah, I saw that.
And I had this epiphany where it's like Kane is performing and I'm on stage, but I'm like off to the side, like behind a curtain, and I'm watching him, and I'm thinking to myself, like, damn, he's the reason I started rapping. Like, he was the inspiration and the motivation and you know, the guy that I wanted to emulate when I was watching Rap City or Yo MTV Raps and the Ain't No Half Steppin' video. Like, I wanted to be that guy. And then, you know, my brother Sim, who was down the hall, you know, he was rapping, and I used to try to beg him to like take me to the studio with him. And you know, it took about, I want to say 4 years between me first asking him and him actually allowing me to go. It took about 4 years. But I used to steal his rhymes and go to school and battle people with his rhymes.
Oh, damn.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then I was like, damn, I can't remember all his, you know, I can't take his book of rhymes because then I don't want to lose it. So then I was like, you know what, I got to start writing my own stuff. Yeah. And then that kind of is what got me into it. And like, I still make music to this day. Yeah. You know, I still make music to this day.
I went to one of your shows. Last time I went to one of your shows, I think it was last year you performed. At, I think it was in not North Miami. Miami Lakes. That was,
I think that was Ingrid B's.
Yeah, Ingrid B's.
It was Mellow Mondays, I think it was.
Yeah, that's what it was. Mellow.
Melodramatic Monday. Yep.
Yeah, that was my first time really seeing you live doing your thing, and it was. I liked it. You know what? Right. I think I'm gonna keep it 100 with you. Remember, I got up from the back and I saw you performing to see your performance, and I think what got me to connect with you, and I think also some of the audience members as well too, is that you did open up and speak about your failures. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Listen, man. Every man that's truly on the grind or that's trying to get to the next level, we all got failures.
Yeah.
But some people are gonna hide them.
Right.
But you got on stage, man, in front of everybody, and just opened up and explained, who you are and why you're doing what you're doing, and this is the song that goes with it. You know what I mean?
Well, I think you know, the thing, at least in my opinion, what makes music and lyrics resonate with people the most is truth. You know, and the truth doesn't always have to be something that's happy. You know, because like you say, all of us are going through stuff. Yeah. You know, and I just always wanted to be transparent with my audience and know that if, you know, you can look at my social media or you look at my lifestyle or you look at all that, and then you hear a song like that, or you hear me, you know, talk about a certain topic or something that I'm going through, and you're like, wow, I would have never thought he would be going through that, or he went through that, or he's going through that. And it humanizes the interaction and the experience more on a deeper level. And that's what's always been my goal with my music, is to connect with people on a soulful level. You know, it's why I brand, you know, the hip hop that I do, adult contemporary hip hop, because to me, it's grown man rap. You know, and as a grown man, you're gonna talk about not only good things but bad things as well, and things that you go through, and try to at least be, you know, a voice for the voiceless, in a sense. You know, for the people that are too scared to talk about what they're experiencing. You know, and especially as black people, as black men in this country, in this day and age, when they, you know, try to tell you not to let it be known when you need help, or if you need help. You know, they try to tell you like it's not masculine to ask for help. You kind of just got to shake it off and just roll with the punches. And you know, that's why so many of us are messed up now, because we've had this thing ingrained in us to not show any signs of vulnerability. And I don't agree with that. And I don't apply to that. So that's why you get those type of performances and crying on stage and opening myself up to people. And even though, you know, you by doing that, you allow yourself to be scrutinized and judged, and you know, everybody has an opinion, but I know at the core of it, you know, those who are meant to connect with it will. Yeah. So. Well,
let me say this: from how you, how you bring these things out and present these things to the audience, and that particular time, me being there and seeing that, I thought I was some real man shit right there. You know what I mean?
Appreciate it.
To get on stage and to expose yourself like that.
Appreciate it.
Because one thing I've learned, like, you know, once you expose your flaws, you know, to society, there's nothing they can really do to you. Mm-hmm. I mean, what else can you do to me?
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, what else? What should I be scared of, or what should I be afraid of you knowing, or whatever the case is? It is what it is. Mm-hmm. You know, and most people, the ones that are exposing your flaws or talking about the shit, they the main ones that got way more skeletons and dirt in their backyard.
Yep.
You know, dig up they shit.
Right.
You gonna find dinosaurs, Egyptian mummies and they shit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know, you might find a flesh wound in my closet, you know what I'm saying? But they shit is deep, you know?
Yeah.
So listen, man, never like, you know, I encourage you, man, to continue on that path, man, continue putting that voice out there.
Yeah.
Because, you know, so.
And my mother, she said something to me maybe a couple months ago, because I had put a post, you know, because I go through shit still, you know, every now and then, and especially coming out of COVID, you know. But she had asked me one day, why do I feel it's necessary to put my personal business on social media? You know, things that might not be, you know, the happiest thing that I'm going through. And I tried to explain to her, like, it's not because it's not about me. You know, it's about, again, me putting something out there because I know somebody somewhere can relate to it. And, you know, if I'm an advocate for mental health like I am and the awareness of it, and if I can do that, then maybe somebody will say, you know what, I was kind of hesitant. I wasn't sure if I wanted to go find help or go talk to somebody, but I saw that, or he opened up about that. I'm gonna go talk to somebody and open up about this. So it's always never been about like me, but just trying to, you know, inspire or motivate, you know, somebody else.
Do you try to open up? Do you try to bring awareness to certain things and open up conversations to these things that society tend to not pay attention to? You know?
Yeah, in my music for sure. I've spoken at a bunch of schools like over the years. I've spoken at elementary schools, middle school, high school, and college. You know, out here. So every school from a magnet school in Coral Gables to Barry University, you know, and everywhere in between, or Florida Memorial, you know. And I'm always sharing, you know, my experiences, you know, again, trying to just show, like, especially the youth, that, you know, it's okay, as cliche as it is, it's okay to not be okay, you know, but it really is okay, you know, because 99.9% of us are not okay at some point in our life, whether daily, monthly, yearly, whatever it is. We're all gonna hit a breaking point, but it's how you know, take that knockdown, that proverbial knockdown, and get back up from it, or how you strive beyond it, how you know, develop your resiliency.
Yeah.
You know, so, and it's not easy.
No, it's not.
It's definitely not easy.
You know, it's crazy because one of my uncles, man, he told me, as a man, you're gonna rebuild yourself at least 3 to 5 times. You know what I mean? You're
Yep.
gonna go through separations, divorces, you know, careers, losing careers, gaining careers. You know, the things that you chase and you're passionate about. You know, you may have, but you can't lose. You know, nothing lasts us forever.
Nothing lasts forever. Yeah.
So, you know, with that being said, you know, I mean, you know, hey, listen, I don't hit rock bottom too, bro. You know, 12 years ago, a little Haiti. Hit rock bottom.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Been there and done. That's a whole nother conversation. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I can kind of relate, and this goes back to me seeing you on stage and you opening up, and I'm like, oh, this is a different type of artist up here. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's not scared to shine that light. You know, which a lot of us that do suffer in the dark, if you can say that.
Yeah.
You know, what you did, you shine a light, and you allowed us to see that light, to kind of gravitate to that light.
Yeah.
And understand that, you know, within that light, we stand in that light as well too.
Yeah.
So I'm one of those cats too, man. But the great thing about when we go through what we go through, right, is the survival.
Yeah.
Like my uncle says, listen, when you hit the ground, the only thing you do is bounce back up.
That's right.
You know, and once you hit rock bottom, it's the lessons that we're taught, that we're able to bring into home to deal with, you know what I mean? And to find ways to make sure this is never gonna happen again.
Yeah.
Once we get our breakthrough, you know? And a lot of that, man, falls in, you know, praying to God, man, and to the universe.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
A lot of solitude time, you know?
Yeah.
Hey, listen, let me tell you something. Get used to being by yourself, you know? At the end of the day, all you got is you. You know?
Yeah.
Being a person of having to depend on someone else to make you feel better, that's gonna murder you, you know? But when you go through hard times, it's meant to build you into something else.
Yeah.
So you went through your trials and tribulations.
Yeah.
But look at you now.
Yeah, and you know, and the tribulations, they're not over. You know, this is still, like you say, rebuilding. This is life number 3 for me in a rebuilding phase. But you know, I don't think I would have it any other way, because it's helped to like really chisel my character of the type of man that I am, the type of person that I am, the type of father that I am, the type of businessman that I am, the type of artist. Like all these experiences, good and bad, I think have molded me in a way that people relate to, or people can, you know, see the passion in the things that I do, and you know, and it's why, you know, especially in terms of DJing, it's kind of like why I DJ the way I do with so much. I mean, everything I do with passion, you know, but you can't necessarily tell the passion in a photograph that I take, but you can tell the passion when I'm DJing, because you're physically watching me do something that I love, you know, and that energy that I give it to the people. You know, it's like every single set I leave it all, like how they say, leave it all on the floor. Like I leave that shit all on the turntables, you know, and it's an emptying, you know, because I'm pouring out, you know, and I don't always get replenished, you know, but that's the nature of being an entertainer and trying to provide people with comfort or feelings of happiness, even if it's temporary, for 2 hours.
Right.
You know, whatever you're going through, you're gonna hopefully forget about it when you're on my dance floor. And then whenever you leave, you go back to it, you know, deal with it then. But while I have you for these 2 hours, let's exchange this energy and this passion and this love and this happiness and smiles and, you know, kind of do a service for each other. You know?
Now, so by you doing that and providing that, because basically what you're doing is it's kind of like you're doing is like, let me put my problems away for 2 hours. You know, I got shit going on, but for these people here that on the dance floor, I'm gonna make them happy for those 2 hours.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you're kind of putting yourself to the side. And
Yeah.
through music,
Yeah.
that energy, that connection, you're able to kind of reach out to the people once again and then make them feel good for those 2-3 hours, etc.
That's why I always wonder if people really, really realize being a DJ, you are in service to others. You know, you're providing a service, but I don't think, you know, one thing I've tried well, not even tried, one thing I've battled with over the years, you know, I'm celebrating my 15th year as a professional DJ this year. 15 years, you know, I appreciate that, you know.
Sure.
And one thing I've always struggled with is getting people to respect the craft, to respect the art form of it, to respect the work aspect of it, and the energy that it takes to do it, especially at the level that I do it at, you know, and a lot of my DJ homies do it at, you know, it's draining. It's really like the shit will drain your soul, your spirit, your nutrition, your mental health, your physical health, your sleep, and then you gotta get up and do it all over again the next night.
Okay, explain that. So some people don't understand. They're thinking like their job drains them when they're on the job for 10 hours. As a DJ, right? For the person that's sitting behind the clock, maybe watching one of your sets, you know, me live, and they're like, damn, I wish I was there. I don't think, how can that person see that it's draining you, with to them, it look like you're having fun?
Well, let's talk about the physical aspects of it. Number one, it's damaging to your ears, number one. So that's dangerous. That's, you know, the tinnitus, you know,
I didn't realize that.
When you have speakers in the booth that are like 2 feet from you, and they're impounding your eardrums with loud volume for 2-3 hours straight, that's dangerous.
Makes sense.
That's physically dangerous to have happen to you. Now you multiply that over 15 years, how do you think my hearing is? It's fucked up. But it comes with the territory. Like people say, well, wear earplugs. Well, if you wear earplugs, now you're starting to cut the level of the music so you don't hear it as well, and I need to hear it at a certain level in order to feel it so I can do my job at the highest level. So I need to damage my hearing to do my job better for you. So that's how that works. Okay. So that's number one. Number two, I'm playing till 3, 4 in the morning, 5 in the morning, hungry. When I leave, I gotta eat. It's not always the healthiest choices to eat when you leave in the club at 5 a.m. So you end up where? At a fast food place, at an IHOP, a Denny's or whatever. Okay, well, meal prep before you go out and do your set. Well, maybe you don't have the time to meal prep, or, you know, maybe, you know, eating a salad isn't enough, you know. And then now you want to factor in alcohol and drinking. Like, I know I was somebody for a long time that before I started a set, I needed 2 drinks, 2, before I even start, just to put myself, just to calm my nerves, because I'm nervous before every set, session? Even to this day.
Oh yeah?
Nervous.
Damn.
Until I play the first song.
Okay.
And when I play the first song, then it's like, all right, cool, let's do this.
Okay.
But up until then, especially there's a DJ on before me and I'm just getting to the spot and I'm like trying to look around, read the room, read the crowd, what's the energy like in here, where do I want to take them? It makes me nervous all the time, you know? So you have 2 drinks and you calm your nerves a little bit, and then you're like, all right, well, you're bouncing around, you're animated, you're sweating maybe. Those 2 drinks, you know, then you're not really feeling it. Okay, let me get another one. Okay, let me get another one. And in a 4-hour DJ set, maybe you've had 5 or 6 drinks. So now that's damaging your liver, right? If you have a hangover the next day, like all these things, like it's one thing after another that compounds itself that comes associated with the job of DJing. Okay. And I didn't really know how to handle it that well early on, you know? And I would bring my problems with me to work. And then that would lead to more drinking and more issues and more a longer, bounce back the next day, and then I'm not able to do things I need to do in the daylight hours because of I got fucked up last night, all these things. So you do all that, and you try all these coping mechanisms and all this assistance that will help you give people a great experience for 2 hours. And I always wondered, like, how come people, and I'm not saying it never happens, because it has happened for me sometimes, but people sometimes should really thank a DJ if you had a good time somewhere. Like, if you're getting ready to leave, you and your girls or your boys, you're getting ready to leave a spot, go thank the DJ. If you had a good time, go up to him, thank you. Had a great time. Give him because we are almost the last to get gratitude, in a sense, when we do our job. Bartenders get tips, waitresses get tips, and I'm not saying it has to be a monetary thing, but a thank you would make a DJ feel, like all the energy that he put out, all the effort was worthwhile.
Do you get a lot of positive thank yous and feedback after the set or during the set? Or?
I mean, I do, but not in the beginning, and I'm to play devil's advocate. Like, I know it's hard. You've been out drinking with your boys or your girls. You're not thinking to thank a DJ before you walk out of the spot. You're drunk and you're like, I got to get the fuck out of here. Let's go. So I get it's not like people are coming in there, saying, okay, I got to make sure to thank the DJ before I leave. Like, I get that, but I'm just speaking from in terms of like, I wish people really
be more aware
of what it takes for us to do what we do. And especially those of us who truly, truly love it, because you got some who don't give a fuck about it. They do it just to get a check. And then you have those of us who would die to do this, or who bleed, or who sweat, or who cry, or, who are really passionate about it. We just so happen to get paid to do it also. Mm-hmm. But we would do it for free. So let me ask you this. I'm gonna turn the twist a little bit
when it comes to DJing. Well, let me do this. Before you play a set, do you already have it prearranged already, or do you just do everything off?
Never have it prearranged. I never have it prearranged because I never know what the energy in the room is.
Okay.
I don't know. Let's say.
So how do you know when to play what at what time in order to get the room to start moving and start vibing?
Well, that's called reading a room, and that comes with experience. There's certain ways to do it where you can play everything that people hear on the radio, and those are like guaranteed, but there's no art in that. And I like to treat my sets like they're art. Reading a room comes from experience, you learn that over time. But let's say you say, okay, I want to play all these female-oriented records, all these female-friendly records, right? And you spend an hour putting this set together, and then you get to the venue, and for the first hour and a half, it's nothing but guys in there. What are you gonna do?
Fucked.
You can't set yourself up by trying to be a psychic and say, I know the room is gonna be like this, because you never know. And especially when you're playing early in a party, because I was an opening DJ for so many years, it's such it's a beautiful thing to create a vibe out of literally nothing. Like when it's just four walls in an empty room. Think about the first 5 people that walk into a party, walk into a club, a bar, a lounge, whatever it is. They're not drunk yet, probably. They're not high if they smoke. They're walking in there with cold energy, cold blood. Now you have to make them feel good about getting dressed, putting gas in the car, driving, paying to park, maybe paying a cover to get in. All right, so now we in here now. Now what? Make me happy. Make me dance. Make me feel like it was worth it. And multiply that by 400 people who are in the party early. There's a certain art to this shit that I don't think, a lot of people realize as patrons. They don't realize, but I love it. I love seeing energy build and build to go from, 15, 20 people kind of just looking around to everybody hands up and the confetti's falling and, the air horns are going and people are hugging. And I've had amazing experiences over these last 15 years.
Would that be considered like the climax of the party? once it hits to that
Yeah,
level,
but that shit can happen multiple times in 4 hours.
4 hours, right?
You take them like this,
Up and down.
and by the time they leave, they're like, God, yo, whew, I had the time of my life that night. Let's come back next week or next month. You know.
Have you ever did a venue that you was like, why the hell did I come here? Like have you ever did any sets where you like, I ain't feeling it, or
Yeah.
you know, like have you ever had those times where like, man, I should just pack up, just call it a day?
Well, I've never said that because you can't. You know, because you can't walk off the job. But in my mind, I'm like, yeah, this is not a good night. Yeah, because sometimes, you know, you can be the greatest DJ in the world, but sometimes the shit just don't go right.
The vibe ain't there. Yeah.
It's just not there. No matter what you do to create the vibe, sometimes it's just not there.
Yeah, wrong night.
You know?
Full moon.
The key to that is saying that, all right, that was that night, the next night's gonna be better. And you kind of put that positive thinking in your mind, and then hopefully the next night is better. So, yeah. I've had way better good nights than bad nights, but I have had bad nights, you know. Yeah.
Now, what about those patrons that come to the party, man? They tapping on you, man. Hey, man, play that new song for such and such. Play this, man. Play this next. How you deal with those people?
First of all, you can't tap me to play shit. You can't tap me. You gotta get through some people to do that. You gotta, but not like
first line of defense is separate yourself from the people. So.
Yeah, like that's why I love playing at a place like Live on Sunday. Yeah. Shout out to Mike Gardner, headliner. You can't even like get to the DJ booth, you know, because it's like behind like a secret hallway and like under the stairs, and you know it's just to get in it. But the new CIA it's kind of like that. But you know the new thing now is people will put whatever the request that they want on their phone and hold the phone up, and it'll be like a marquee screen. Okay. And it'll be like play Bad Bunny or play whatever 2 Chainz or whatever it is, and then you know you always just gotcha.
But you don't play it though.
Fuck no. Unless it's like, you know, every now and then somebody will make like a cool request.
Yeah.
I'm like, all right.
And what about those artists? Like new artists coming out. Do you get hit up with those artists that come to Miami?
Yeah.
See you playing and Live?
Yeah, for years. I mean, you know, I've actually prided myself on being a little more receptive to up and coming artists because I'm an artist first. You know, one wrong way that they go about it is they try to get you to play their song right then and there on the spot. And what I try to tell them is, send me the song, let me vibe with it, then so that next week or the next party I do, I'll know how to work it in properly. Because like it's a lot that goes into even a 10-minute set. Like it's constant, like I'm thinking 3 songs ahead, 3 moves ahead. It's like playing chess. Okay, this song's not working, I gotta get out of that, go to the next song. Like, okay, Bala just went to this table, I gotta shout that person out. Okay, wait, what did that sign say? Let me wait till the sign turn around. Oh, and then you gotta change the song. Then you gotta change the song again. Like it's so much happening, more so than people maybe realize. You just playing a song. Like no, there's a lot of moving parts, literally and figuratively in the DJ set. So you gotta take all that and then to have somebody come and say, "Yo, can you play my song?" You won't be disappointed. Okay, I'm sure I won't be, but I can't do that right now. I can't do it tonight. But if you send it to me, let me vibe with it, let me build with it, let me work it in so that it's the best representation of you also. It'll do us both a service. I'm playing the record the right way and you're getting the best opportunity for the greatest feedback for it if you let me, you know, maneuver it properly. And you know, sometimes you gotta try to explain that to artists, but it's all good.
Yeah, do they sometimes reject that positive explanation?
No. It's always like an understanding, and
kind of break it down to them.
Yeah, you know, and because I treat them like a human being, like I talk to them, like I don't, you know, shun them and like fuck out my face. Like I don't, you know, I do my best to treat everybody with the same level of respect, and that's something that I think people, you know, when they think of Fly Guy, I would like that to be part of my reputation. That, you know, whether the bathroom attendant or the club owner, you're getting the same level of respect and interaction from me. You know, I don't put anyone on a higher status or pedestal than anyone else. So I would treat an up and coming artist like I would treat Travis Scott. you know, or you know, something like that. Like you'll get the same respect from me. You know.
Pretty much look at everybody on the same playing field. Of course, as you should, for real. You know what I mean? No, that's dope, man. So let me ask you. So what are some of your most like? What are those parties that you just can't wait to get to the club, man? You just can't wait, or get to the event, and like you just can't wait to tear it up. Like what? Like
Have you heard about the doo-wop?
the doo-wop. Let's talk about the doo-wop. I know you've been promoting that for a minute now.
Yeah, this August will be 2 years, which is hard to believe, but yeah.
Shout out 2 years for the doo-wop. Shout out.
Yeah, all R&B soul music party. Me and my man Mike Gardner created, and it's been amazing. You know, we've been on tour with it for months. You know, doing it in different cities. People look forward to it. It only happens once a month. You know, and it's an amazing vibe, and it's like truly all R&B. You know, we don't deviate from the program at all. We don't, you know, okay, let's play a hip hop record with with a singer on it. Like, no, it's not an R&B song. It's a rap song with singing on it. So we really stick to the code of what we set out from the very beginning, and it's been working out beautifully. And I know now people have come to expect like they're only going to hear R&B, and they show up every time. Yeah.
That's a good way how you package that. But what made you want to come up with that event, the doo-wop?
Originally, I went to Mike. We were doing the Chris Brown tour after parties. I want to say 2016.
Okay.
And we, you know, it was all around the country, all the after parties for the tour. And I was like, yo, it would be dope if we did an R&B like day party, either the day before the concert or the day after or something like that. And it just didn't materialize. And you know, the tour was very, very hectic for Mike, of course. So, you know, it never got around to happening. And then, you know, 4 years later, COVID hit. And then that took us out for a year. And then in 2021, I went back to him and I was like, yo, remember that idea that, you know, I came to you with before? I think right now would be perfect time. Like people are just starting to come back outside. Let's just give them something different. And he was like, you know what, let's do it. And from day one, like it clicked. And it's been working, so yeah.
And it's been a 6-month run?
No, it's
longer than that?
No, 2 years.
Oh, 2 years.
Yeah, almost 2 years. August will be 2 years.
So ever since after COVID, it's been straight.
August 2021 was when we started.
Nice.
Yeah. And
what cities have you guys taken this?
We've done Vegas, Chicago, Dallas, Houston, Atlanta, New Orleans, Orlando, Charlotte, and I think that's it so far. We've done Orlando twice.
Okay.
Yeah, so more cities are coming. Yeah, we actually are working on Toronto right now for Caravana Weekend, which is the end of July.
Okay, so that's the next stop y'all heading to.
Yeah.
Toronto.
Mm-hmm.
And also I've seen some of the doo-wop promos, the more recent ones. Mm-hmm. I said you guys have Tank as well.
Tank's been
well,
Tank's been amazing for us, man. He's been an amazing host. You know, he's, to me, like right now in terms of R&B, he's up there. You know, he's an amazing vocalist, singer, writer.
He's definitely a dope artist. Sure.
You know, and I've been on vibing with his music since the first Maybe I Deserve, like 2002. And his energy and the way he engages and interacts with the people is just it's unmatched. It's unmatched. He's really like down to earth and loves the public, and it's helped. We've also had Ari Lennox. She's another great person that's hosted it. We had Jamie Foxx host New Year's Eve along with Tank and Ari Lennox. We've had Melanie Fiona, we just did Mario and Rico Love on Memorial Day. The week before that, we did Summer Walker. We did 2,000 people at the Urban in Overtown for Summer Walker. So, you know, we've had there's been some monumental parties, man.
Nice.
All R&B music.
Nice.
Yeah.
Hey, we don't have that same R&B to this day. We got to go back to the old school. So
well, you know, but I'll say this. If you search for it, it's out there. Like there's certain artists that,
like the new artists,
that they you can see that they embody and they pull from that era that we like, and they apply that to what they do with their, you know, new age twist on it. But it's still like, it still feels good. You know what I'm saying? It's still like artists
that
like,
should be like R&B and trap though.
Nah, that's its own category. But then you got artists like Lucky Day, Ro James, Kevin Ross, SZA. I mean, it's so many new artists that, you know, you can see they come from the lineage of like 90s, 80s, 70s, you know, and they apply that. So it's a lot of music out there if you search for it.
Yeah, that's the thing. And that's probably what it is. You got to search for it.
Yeah.
So it's not like back in the days with R&B when they used to promote the Jodeci's,
Right.
SWVs, and all the great artists back then. You got to really dig deep.
Yeah.
The industry doesn't really want to promote the love of R&B thing anymore. As we all can see. We already know where that's going.
Yeah.
You know?
But it's out there.
But it takes DJs like you, yourself, to keep that type of music, to promote that music, to hopefully, to help get it out to the public, man. So people like us, man, we can find that, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, if we got to go to the club to find out who the new artist is, and kind of take it back to how it used to be way back in the days before people got on TV, you know, MTV Raps and all the other stuff. Yeah. Then it is what it is, you know what I mean? But that's good. But so with the doo-wop, where do you guys see that going for the next year or two?
I mean,
what is the end goal of promoting the doo-wop?
Well, I wouldn't say there's an end goal, but I mean, it can be as big as like the Roots Picnic to me. Like, it can be a festival, you know, it can be huge. It can be something that, you know, travels the world. You know, it can be like an ultra music fest that's for EDM music, but for R&B. Like, it has the potential to be that big. You know, we're a long way from that, but I think, you know, every journey, every odyssey starts with the first step. And I think we've been putting one foot in front of the other for the last, 18 months, 19 months. And the end goal, I don't want to say the end goal because it doesn't have to end, but one of the goals down the line is to make it, something global. And I think it has the ability to be that, so it's a process.
Nice. So far, you got 2 years in the game, still going through it. When is the next show?
This Saturday. The next one is this Saturday at the Urban.
Okay.
We haven't announced who is hosting yet, but we will either tonight or tomorrow. And then the one after that will be next Saturday, the 24th, at Racket in Wynwood. So, yeah. So we do once a month at Racket and Wynwood, once a month at the Urban.
Okay.
Yeah. And it gives people two different experiences. Racket is it's small, it's intimate, it's indoors. Yeah. The Urban is the huge outdoor venue, open air. So, people like it for different reasons, So some people like the intimate, shoulder to shoulder closeness. And some people want their space to,
Yeah, it's kind of vibe.
It's kind of vibe, yeah. So it's all good.
I was gonna ask you, Fly Guy. So how many different venues in Miami as far as clubs, like the big name clubs, the clubs that people come out of town and want to go to and go and attend? How many of those clubs, or the name of those clubs, or whatever case, have you performed in Miami here?
Since I started?
Yeah, since you started, pretty much. How many of you can remember?
Yeah, I mean, Mansion, Live, Story, Cameo, Dream, which is now called Xchange.
Oh, they changed the name for Dream.
Yeah. Play, which used to be the Fifth back in the day, and then later became Ivy. What else? I mean, those are Set, which is now called Mr. Jones. Yeah, those are the big clubs. And then, dozens of lounges and, like Foxhole, Racket, even the Clevelander up there, like Love Hate, of course, where I started 15 years ago. Yeah.
That's the first club you started?
Love Hate was, that's where the inception of my DJ career was. Love Hate, Classic Sundays.
Oh yeah? That's where you started, that's where you went from the idea to actually putting a transition and now putting it from
That's where I walked in, where one of my friends from Killian, when I moved back down here and I wasn't really doing shit, and she was like, "And you should go check out this Sunday party. It's old school hip hop." Yeah. And I was like, "Word, all right, go check it out." And then met the guys over there who did that, fell in love with it, and they were gracious enough to give me a platform to start DJing and learning, and played every Sunday there for the next 3 years.
It's been history ever since then.
Yeah, because after that, I ended up on VH1 Master the Mix on the TV show, and that put me on a national spotlight.
I'm glad you brought that up. All right, man, let me get on something real quick. So I want to let's talk about that. Your TV appearance.
Yeah, Master the Mix. VH1 season 3 Smirnoff Master the Mix. That was very dope. That kind of.
How you get that? How did you?
Somebody from out of town, from LA, actually, one of my people's in LA, but like, yo, they having an audition for a DJ TV show in Miami, and it was the day of. It was a Saturday morning, and I was like, when is the audition? They were like, oh, today. I was like, the fuck? Like, all right, it's like at 3 o'clock. This is like 11 a.m. So the audition, I want to say it was in Little Haiti or in Allapattah maybe. So at the time, I was sponsored by Vitamin Water. So I called up my homegirl Liz from Vitamin Water, and she got 4 of her friends, and they came to the audition with me, and they were like, so Cisco from Drew Hill, he used to have this thing called a Cisco six-pack. He used to run around with 6 girls everywhere he went.
Okay.
So I kind of did that. So I went to the audition with these girls and Vitamin Water and like a Vitamin Water truck and cases of Vitamin Water, giving it out to the casting director and the casting agents. And, you know, and that's before I even did my audition. I was just like, hey, I'm Fly Guy, here's some Vitamin Water for you. I was like, who was that? And then I did the audition, and then I got the call back, and then I got another call back. Then I went in, I did an on-camera interview, and then they were like, you got it. So got on the show. It was me and 11 other contestants. We competed for $250,000, and it was 10 episodes, and I got kicked off in episode 7. So I made it to 7 out of 10.
7 episodes.
7 out of 10, yeah.
Well, I'm gonna clap for that 7 episodes.
Oh, is this all good?
We're gonna talk about why you got kicked off, though.
I got kicked off because, so every episode was a different challenge, a different skill set of DJing.
Okay.
And the episode that I got kicked off on, I didn't have that skill set. So I knew when they announced, because they would announce what the challenge is every morning before we start filming. So I'm like, okay, I'm going home today. I already know. Because I knew there were certain techniques or certain areas of DJing that were my strengths and certain ones that were my weaknesses. And I knew that this one was coming. I'm just glad it came in episode 7 as opposed to like episode 3, right? So I knew, but what happened was I had like a meltdown live during my set.
Damn.
Yeah, it was bad. It was so bad that girls in the crowd started crying. Because everybody was cheering me on as like the hometown hero. We filmed it here in Miami at the Ice Palace studio. So I was, Kid Capri in the previous episode was like, yo, this is your city, Fly Guy. You're doing, whatever. So people really, really wanted me to win. This is 2013. That's 10 years ago. Okay. And it was a horrible 2 minutes. The shit felt like 2 hours, but it was 2 minutes. And everyone was just stunned. Like, you know how like if you're doing something and something goes wrong and it's like Murphy's Law, what might go bad will go bad, that type of thing. Yeah. And it was just a domino effect, one after the other. This turntable wasn't working, and then this happened, and the mixer button was fucked up, and then I didn't know at the time because I was still new. I didn't know how to troubleshoot in real time when something stops working. Mm-hmm. So I froze, and of course they kept filming. People in the crowd started crying. The judges, Kid Capri and the judges, like they just looked and was like, they just shook their head. Like, I mean, there's nothing to say. Yeah. Sorry, Fly Guy, you're going home. Went backstage, almost threw my computer like at the wall, my laptop at the wall, and then I ended up crying and all that, and then they filmed me crying. So all of that happens, right? This is in February. And the show, because we filmed the show and then they aired it 2 months later. So you couldn't tell anybody about the show, but once it finally started airing, week number 7, I had a big watch party, and it gets to the scene where I do my shit, and then people in the watch party, like, same thing like the crowd, like they couldn't believe, how bad I did. And when they showed me crying, because at the time when I cried and they were talking to me, because you do your you finish your set, you go backstage, they interview you, how do you feel? Like, how the fuck do you think I feel? Right. And then, so that's when I had the breakdown. And in my mind, I'm like, I know they're gonna air all of this. Like, this is not gonna be cut out of the show. They're gonna air because they love this type of shit on TV. Yeah. They're gonna air all that, so.
Yeah. Like to show the downfall and shit. Like
yeah. So, that's when people on Twitter started calling me DJ Cry Guy, and real DJs don't cry, and you a bitch for that, and blah, blah, blah. You shouldn't have been on the show in the first place. Like, had all that, all that, right? And then that made me say, okay, I'm about to be one of the biggest DJs in this fucking city. Mm-hmm. And that was like the motivating factor. That after that, it was like, I'm never gonna give anybody a reason to say any type of shit like that about me again as a DJ.
Right. That's a time in your life where you had to go through, you know, a little bit. That
was a knockdown. You either gonna stay down or get up, and I got up.
Yeah.
And 10 years later,
still up.
Yeah.
It takes those type of moments, man.
Yeah.
To define you. You know what I mean? Yeah. I mean, if you don't come across those moments, what's gonna force you to dig deep into yourself?
Right.
To bring that line out. You know what I mean?
Right.
Sometimes we need that.
Right.
You know, sometimes we need that. I know I need that sometimes too.
Yeah.
But that's good. That's a good story, man. So that got you. So that episode.
I mean, I'm
season 7.
Season 3, episode 7.
Season 3, episode 7.
And then they stopped doing the show after that. They didn't do that because season 1 and 2 was on BET, and it used to come on at midnight on BET, and it was only 30 minutes long. Season 3, they moved it to VH1, made it an hour long, and put it at 9 o'clock every Monday. So everybody saw it. So it really became like, you know, and I'm still cool with some of the DJs, the other cast members. We still talk to this day. But the episode I lost, like I was, not only did I not have the level of skills that these other DJs had, but the guys that kept going, like the finalists, one was a national champ, McDonald's national DJ champion. Okay. One was a world champion from the DMC DJ competition, world champion, kind of like Craze. Okay. He was like another Craze, like DJ Craze.
Oh shit.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And then another one, he was, I want to say he was Lil' Kim's tour DJ at the time, just phenomenal. So I was supposed to go home on that episode.
Yeah, I mean,
you know, it's like
you had some big boys. You had some heavy hitters.
Yeah.
You had to go against.
Yeah, and I think it's important to know your weaknesses just as much as you know what your strengths are. Yeah. You know, so it's all good.
Would you ever do like another like they ever came up with?
Well, I did 2 DJ battles in the last 4 years. I did a Jameson DJ battle that I won, and I became a Jameson crate mate. And then I did a DJ battle at the Seminole Hard Rock Casino in 2021, and I won 2nd place in that. Like I won $10,000 in that.
Oh damn, that's what's up.
You know, from this company from London that came over here looking for you know, big DJ talent, and I went in that, and you know, that was cool. You know, to kind of redeem what happened in 2013.
Yeah,
you know,
this is your, like now you're coming. This is your your redeem period.
Yeah,
coming back up.
Yeah, but I think I'm done with, you know, DJ competitions and battles and all that shit. I think I've closed that chapter. You know, I've redeemed myself from that. I learned the lessons I needed to learn, and I moved on from that now.
So as of right now, still as a DJ. So what is kind of like what's your MO now? Like what's your flow now? You just more like, cause you get, like you say, there's no need to battle. Been there, done that. You just more like, just let me just take care of the people.
Yeah, just creating memorable experiences for people. That's it. You know, and eventually moving into a space of ownership, because that's really, in terms of, you want to talk about end goals for real, is ownership, is owning your space. You know, not have to worry about being booked to play somewhere, but owning a venue. That's like the ultimate right there. So that's where my head is at.
So that's the path that you're currently working on right now, behind closed doors, trying to see how you can get that, get that going.
Yeah. And
you're looking at if you put it within like a time span, like when do you kind of foresee that?
Can't do that.
What if you estimate in your mind, like ideally, like what time frame would you like to see that happen?
Maybe in the next 2 years, maybe.
Okay.
Yeah. Next 2 years. You know, I'll be 45, so that's a good number. It's a good age. You know, to good age to move into that type of space.
So you're a tourist.
Yeah. May 8th. Yeah.
May 15th.
Yeah. You too. Same to you, man.
Sure.
Yeah.
So we got similar traits. Yeah, that stubborn shit is real.
Yeah, definitely.
That shit is real, bro.
Definitely.
You know, we tend to wanna. I mean, not to digress, but you know, well, tourists, man, we tend to wanna do our own thing the way we want to do it. You know what I mean? Yeah. But we're very passionate about the things we do.
That's right.
You know what I mean, very passionate.
That's right.
No, man, I think Rashaan.
Yeah.
Rashaan.
Yeah.
DJ Fly.
Yeah.
I think your story is amazing, brother. You know what I mean?
I appreciate it.
And I'm glad, you know, with the school, you went to Kennedy for 4 years, right? The whole 4 years,
Yeah.
right? Yeah. Even though you and I went to the same school, but we had our own different thing.
Right.
I was running with the knuckleheads, and you had your own little knuckleheads. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, but, you know, like I said, to see a classmate you know what I mean, to grow.
Yeah.
You know, look, you're 43, I'm 44.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We're here in front of each other talking.
Yeah.
A lot of people didn't make it.
A lot did not make it.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
A lot of people didn't make it. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? But we have, you know?
Yeah.
And for us to still be around and to inspire, you know what I mean? As your case, you're still inspiring. You know, you're still reaching the masses.
Yeah.
You know, you seem to be very community based as well.
Yeah,
You know what
definitely.
I mean? Which is very important.
Definitely.
You know what I mean? So you're grounded. So just as long as you're grounded, man, I think you'll forever have a dope, amazing career no matter what you do.
I appreciate it.
You know what I mean? And that just comes from, I mean, just to kind of, for me to understand where that comes from, because it took me, I had to be taught that you got to stay grounded, no matter what you do.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because sometimes in life, man, when you're coming up, you get beat up pretty bad. But when you find a way to work your way through and get to mid-level and someone on top that you're climbing,
Yeah.
you know, you got to be able to use your worst experiences to humble you, because like you said, as you come up, you never know when you're going to come down, and you never know the person that's down when they're going to come up.
Exactly.
You never know when the role's going to switch.
Uh-huh.
So treat everybody, you know, equal.
Yep.
You know, respect nature.
Yeah.
Respect everything around you, and it will respect you.
Yeah.
Now, when things don't go and when shit gets disrespectful, that's a whole different ballgame.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But definitely, man, great story, man. Great journey. We're not done. I still got a few more questions.
Okay.
You know? So I wanted to ask you, as an artist, you know, you being on stage, all right? You don't have to be behind the booth anymore at these events or this time. When you're rapping and things of that nature, and I know you got a band as well too, right? What's the name of your band?
It actually doesn't have, the band doesn't have a name.
So
you know,
y'all like
yeah.
Prince and shit. Y'all got so much shit.
It's kind of like just falls under like the gentleman category, like myself, my man Lucian White, you know, my partner in rhyme and music. And we kind of just never gave the band a name. You know,
Hey, maybe don't need a name.
Probably, we just all like collectively like the gentleman. That's us. So yeah.
But when you're on stage, you turn into a different person.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's totally different from
Yeah.
all the different endeavors that you're doing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I see that when you're performing, you actually, is that therapy for you when you're on stage, man?
100%. Being an MC is my first true passion and true love, and I love performing. I love being on stage with a mic in my hand, projecting my voice to the crowd, rhyming lyrics that I came up with in my head to convey my thoughts, emotions, fears, triumphs, and passions. I love it. I love DJing too, but if I had to choose between one or the other, I would choose an artist career, even to this day. So just to kind of give you context to put it in perspective, that's how much I love that. That's why I still do it. Like, I don't necessarily make a lot of money from it, but I do it. I make music. I release projects independently because I can't not rap. I can't not make music, you know? So that's why I continue to do it to this day.
Yeah, that music's in the blood. It's in the soul.
It's in there.
Yeah, I get it. And once it's in the blood, man, once it's in the soul, you can't really shake it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can't shake it.
Yeah.
You know, no matter how old we get, you still can't shake it.
Right.
Do you still feel like you're a young buck and you still got maybe that one hit? Maybe you got in you like that one hit you might want to put out there.
I don't even think about it like that. Yeah. I don't even think on like.
Well, let's do this. Let me rephrase that. Not from a perspective of wanting to put something out there, because you're doing it you're more doing it for being an artist. You're doing it more for yourself and for what you do, right? But have you ever thought in that same mindset, like, man, if I put this song out 1, 2, 3, I'm already doing it. I already created. I already performed it. But if I actually took this to 99 Jams or something just to see where it's at, or
no, but I wouldn't do that, because I know the music that I make is not, you know, everything has its place, you know, and that's something that I had to learn over the years too, because I would go to the radio stations with my music, and then, you know, I had a conversation with a program director one day, and he broke it down for me, kind of like how I break it down to up and coming artists in the club who want me to play their music. This program director broke it down to me so clearly, I couldn't do anything but understand it. He said, you're coming to me with this song that you want to get played on the air. And, you know, radio is about advertising. There's a time limit between commercials and songs, and, you know, there's certain songs that have to get played. So if I have Chris Brown, a Drake, a Nicki Minaj, a Lil Wayne, a Jay-Z, a J. Cole, what is gonna make me take your song, take out Drake's, and put yours in its place? And I didn't have the answer, because that business of radio is ran a certain way. And I had to say, okay, there are many more ways to get your music out there and heard other than playing the radio game. And that's not the type of music that I make. And I'm cool with that. I've been cool with that for years now, for almost 10 years. I'm like, okay, what I do is different. Everything has its audience. My audience is just in a different space. They don't necessarily listen to the radio anyway for the music I make. So I'm not going that route. You got to learn everything has its place and its own audience. So yeah.
No, that's a good observation, man.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty sure it saved you a lot of time and headache.
Yeah.
Of knowing your place.
Yeah.
That's what I think. A lot of artists. Do you feel like other artists, especially the new ones, should really observe the game and find their place?
Well, I think every artist has to find your voice, and whatever your voice is, and what the message in your music, who are you doing it for? What does your music say? Because it's very clear. Like there's either it's this kind of music, it's this kind, or it's this kind. You either have a message in your music or you don't. You either care about radio or you don't. You either talk about certain things subject matter wise, or you talk about these other things. I think every artist should find what their identity is, and then go that route, whatever that route is. Again, there's a space and a place for everything. It all can't be only conscious. It all can't only be trap. It all can't be whatever these terms. I don't even know what the new age terms are that they use to describe music, but you need it all.
So many, yeah.
You need it all because it's all one culture. There was whack shit in the 90s, just like there was phenomenal shit in the 90s. And I think people get into this this mindset of like there was no such thing as whack hip hop in the 90s. Like, of course it was. Yeah. There's a lot of shit we didn't listen to.
Yeah. I just didn't promote it though. Yeah, like they do now.
Yeah. But people can only have. Let me say this the right way. Promoting something to you, right, that you don't like, doesn't matter because you're not gonna listen to it, right?
True.
I'm asking you. You're not gonna listen to something you don't like.
I'm not gonna listen to. I might hear it.
You're not gonna listen to it.
Yeah.
You're not gonna seek it out. You're not gonna go on your phone and go to Spotify and say, "Yeah, let me go."
Right.
No.
True.
Hearing it in passing as you flip through a radio station is different than going to seek it out and spend money on it or listen to it on purpose. So it doesn't matter how much somebody promotes something. If I don't want it, I'm not gonna digest it and process it. And if I do, I will. And I might not want it today. I might want it tomorrow. So I know if it's in my phone, I know it's there whenever I want to be in a different kind of mood and a headspace, and that's okay too. Yeah. There's a place for everything to exist. And I think once that mentality is like more widespread and more understood and more, accepted, it'll make the overall culture better instead of trying to compartmentalize and separate everything and, there's good music, there's bad music. There's good food, there's bad food. But motherfuckers still gotta eat.
Yeah.
You eat what you like.
Or you don't think that in that same sense, you don't think that at this particular time when music should be compartmentalized in a certain degree, like certain things should be sectioned off, like that. The pillows belong over there in that corner. The chairs are gonna be on this corner.
No, because then you're treating art like communism, and you're trying to say that this can't be here. Well, why not? It's freedom of expression. That's why we fought for the things that we fought for, to be able to express ourselves artistically and freely without any worries of being confined or whatever it is. We all can have opinions about something, but I don't think that things should be restricted. For the only thing I think that should be restricted is explicit content to minors. That's it. Beyond that, as adults, as grown people, you don't need to compartmentalize it, again, because you're gonna go for what you like, and what you don't, you're not. Do I think there's a systematic plan in place to destroy the mentality and the intelligence of black people? 100%.
For sure.
When my brother left the Source magazine, he went to BET, and he did shows at BET, and then Bob Johnson sold BET to Viacom, and then it became a different thing. You went from Teen Summit and Tavis Smiley and BET News to College Hill and Hell Date and BET Uncut, and that happened with the Viacom emergence, you know? So there's obviously the powers that be at the very, very pinnacle of this shit have an idea to say we are only going to market and promote music that destroys the intelligence of black and brown people. Yes, but it's up to however you are raised, brought up, your upbringing, your influences. You have to recognize that and not let that infiltrate and sway you from understanding who we are as a culture and as a people, you know, but you know, that's a whole nother rabbit hole of shit, you know, that that we could go down.
No, but that is true. As you explained.
But I definitely think like there's a definite plan in place of why they only sign certain type of artists.
Oh, of course.
You know, of why the radio only plays certain type of music. Like there's a reason, not just by happenstance. It's a reason.
Yeah.
But if you know that you don't like that, then go find what it is that speaks to you, that you do like. You don't have to listen to anything. Nobody's forcing it, you know, on you. So, you know, and I guess that's the one beauty about having so much access to music nowadays and streaming, because you can literally access any kind of genre that you want, or subgenre, you know.
Well, I guess that's where the internet plays an important role now. So now, like you said, we're not subjected to the radio playing what they want us to hear. Now we can actually cut the radio off, go into our phones. We don't got to go to the computer anymore, and then kind of select and look, like you said, search for what we want to hear. You know, Mary Poppins, 1, 2, 3, boom. You click on that, you're vibing off of that.
Imagine this, right? Imagine if it was 1995 and you walked into Specs Music or Tower Records, and you only could pick a CD or a tape from, let's say, one particular style of rap that you don't personally like. But the manufacturers and the warehouses only made that type of music and shipped it to the stores. So when you go in there and you look and you're like, well, this is all I got to pick from. Let me just pick the less of the evils. But what streaming does now, it makes the ability to upload, for any artist to upload their music so that you have more than just what they want to feed you, basically. And that's the upside to, you know, the oversaturation of music consumption nowadays, of music releases, because you say, okay, well, I can literally find anything that's going to speak to me and my soul, and I'm not only restricted to, you know, these 10 type of artists that I can't stand or that I don't respect or I don't like or whatever it is.
Right.
So,
right. Yeah, the internet definitely gave us a broader, a broader advancement of music, of choosing music.
Because back in the day, you go in the store, you say, okay, well, I don't fuck with MC Hammer, but I love Public Enemy, so I'm gonna get It Takes a Nation. I ain't really on that conscious shit. I don't really want Mos Def. I'm gonna go get this. I'm gonna get this Ice Cube, or you had variety.
That's right.
So imagine if the music that you didn't like was the only thing that was on a streaming service, was the only thing there, and you couldn't access, feel-good hip-hop or conscious hip-hop or whatever it is, or trap hip-hop if you like trap shit. Like, imagine if you only had access to the thing that you don't like. What would you do?
Country music. All day.
You know what I'm saying?
Like a motherfucker. Yeah. Hey, you don't fuck with that country music?
I know. Hey, listen, I listened to a lot of Garth Brooks back in the day. Trust me, I know the vibes.
Okay. Yeah, I fuck with it. Hey, man, that was you ever thought about, like, 12 years ago, like when we was younger, doing music and stuff like that. Like, I talk about this with my partner all the time too. Like, man, can you imagine we would have the same technology that these kids got now with the Instagram and stuff like that? Because back then, trying to get record deals and all that, you had to go to, you had to deal with record labels and distribution, and you had to deal with the artists, the scouts that go out and then find the talent. I don't know why I can't think of the name of it right now. But you had to deal with so much shit back then, you know what I mean? So with social media, with the instant access, man, you could lay down a song in your back room, or in your bedroom, and then you can just upload that shit on social media, and you can get about 1 million clicks, without having to go through all the original process of what it took back then to get a record deal. You know what I mean? I kind of feel like Soulja Boy is like, he's one of those examples, man.
He's the origin of it. He's one of the pioneers.
One of the first artists.
Yeah, he's one of the pioneers of that, of the changing of the guard of creating music, and you can't take that away from him. No. Whether you like it or not, but you kind of have to respect what the catalyst that it was for the direction that music went. It's just certain things that you just can't ignore or deny, so it definitely changed around that time, because that's even in the era where we went from recording on ADAT tapes and DAT tapes and, MPCs and SP1200s to now, you can make beats completely in a computer, like on Fruity Loops. Like, you don't even need hardware necessarily.
More software based.
All you need is a computer. So, it's, and me being someone, at 43, rapping since I was 14, recording in the studio since I was 16, like, I've seen the changes, and I've seen how technology can be a benefit and a detriment because it makes you lazy. So you talk about artists uploading a song that they recorded in their bedroom and not even have to go through the channels that artists used to have to go through. Well, then that shows in their live performance because they don't have any showmanship. They don't know what it's like to entertain a crowd. You get rappers nowadays that will get on stage and just look at each other.
Yeah.
Or, a rapper will look at his hype man,
right there,
or will stand back away from the front of the stage because you're too nervous to be closer to the crowd, when that's the whole reason you're even there, is for them to see you and engage with you. So, all of those things, plays a role. In A&R, I think was the term you were looking for. The A&R would help artist development, right? And then you would get these things, and then through the artist development, you would get the birth of superstars. Nobody's just born a superstar. Like, there's certain things that come along with that, certain things, a process. So, in my opinion, what do I know?
Yeah.
No.
You know. Man, so Fly Guy, man, I wanted to, I kind of wanted to bring it down a little bit. You know what I mean? I know you got to get out of here soon. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But let me just say this, man. It was a pleasure, man. Definitely speaking with you. You know what I mean?
Appreciate it. I had a good time, man. Yeah,
definitely, man. I'm glad you came to Little Haiti, my brother.
Yeah, definitely.
Glad you put some time to the side for me. You know what I mean? Because I don't know, man. Fly Guy gonna be a little hard to get a hold of, man.
Come on now.
We all over the place, man.
Cougars, baby. That's
there you go. Cougars every towards us. So the universe had to come together. Just the time,
Yeah.
But before we close out, Fly Guy, let me just ask you this. So what do you see yourself, man, in the next 5 or 10 years? Just Fly Guy.
Raising my children, owning my lounge and clubs, and just continuing to represent hip hop as a culture in different ways, and art, through photography, music, DJing, entrepreneurship. Definitely get into like philanthropy, community-based shit. That's like, other goals that I have in mind. So, just to keep the brand expanding beyond parties, Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Do you think as the years go on and you're starting to wind down, you'll be able to make that transition that you're speaking of like smoothly, or do you think you have to do a few things before you get to that space?
I mean,
like our parents say, like, I'm gonna retire 10 years, but before that I gotta do 2 more years.
I haven't looked at it like that, because in 5 years from now, if I own one of the nicest clubs out here and I feel like I want to DJ that night, I'm gonna.
There you go.
So, and I think that ultimately is the beauty in being able to work at your leisure.
Yeah.
So.
What would be the name of your club?
I'm not gonna say that. I gotta keep certain things,
Yeah.
We'll keep
but
that up, when that time comes,
when that
time comes, you'll be like, oh, that makes sense. Yeah. You'll remember this conversation. You'll be like,
of course, we got it on tape.
Yeah, exactly.
I'll play it back for you.
Exactly. Yeah.
No, man, that's what's up.